Well, good night again, and welcome to TNR's coverage of the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm your commentator again, Scrappy Doo, and tonight we have got a championship decider potentially on our hands. The Red Bull can win the Drivers' Championship in the hands of T-Bone. Doing the maths quite a few times in my head, I would say, and on paper again, the gap he needs is 11 points to beat Leclerc to win the Drivers' Championship in Hungary. He said he couldn't do it last week, and he couldn't, but the race victory has pushed him over, and a 11-point deficit is all he needs today to clinch that championship. Hi again to everyone around the world watching us and or competing in the background online. I'm Scrappy Doo, and I'll be trying to take you through again what can be a crucial Hungarian Grand Prix coming up. A reminder again, no qualifying today. It will be taken from the championship standings. So by easy maths, that puts T-Bone and Leclerc at the back fighting for the championship. Now, for obvious reasons, I haven't actually asked either driver if they want to comment tonight. I'm sure they're very focused and wanting to obviously focus on the race. So, as ever, we got some invites out already. I'm very cautious of the time. I would have wanted to go through the Drivers' Championship. Maybe we can do that when the race gets going. So, we'll go live with a couple of minutes to go before the start of what will be a crucial Hungarian Grand Prix. So, we'll go through the grid really quickly if I can get all my stats up. It's always good to be prepared, as everyone knows. Right, so going through the stats, so let's go from bottom to top. So if all 20 drivers were to start today's Hungarian Grand Prix, we would see the two Mercedes starting from the front row of the grid in the hands of Walker and Jord. Walker again, unfortunately, starting from pole position, it would become with zero points in the championship. Got pretty close the last couple of weeks. It's a shame to finish outside the points, and hopefully that him and Jord can both score championship points tonight. Toon Fan, very lonely, going to be on the second row of the grids with Maverick. These two really underperforming this year, and as we've seen in other leagues, they will fight through, and surely they will be picking up some decent points. And it really is going to have to get good for them at some point in this year because of how good these two drivers are back there. Bagos and Dewey be the next two drivers up on row 3. Seeing some good stuff from them. And again, just really not achieving the potential that these drivers have got behind them. So again, good luck to them. We've got VSL Optics and Matty Smith up on row 4. And again, so this midfield pack, very low points. And I think a lot of drivers recently, it's been out of frustration the reason why they haven't actually finished and got the maximum points for the teams. Out of that, we've then got Lewis. I'm going to be calling him an old boy. Seeing some good stuff with old boy, up as far as P2 in the Italian Grand Prix last time out. With Flaming Nuggets and IMC being up with the row 5 or 6. Extremist, she's very vocal on social media, so it's very good to see with Stringy there. When then going towards the back of the grids, we've got Titch and Jared, followed by then Hazard and Seb. And the final row of the grid will be taken up by the championship rivals. Just the two of them can win it between Leclerc and Jonathan Cox. Of course, we did see last week this same back time, this same back channel, Leclerc unfortunately threw it away at the last minute. It must have been scared about the tyres, and I think we saw that ourselves with Racing Point in the real Formula 1 on Sunday, making it a pit stop when maybe he didn't need to. Maybe regretting it now. Again, so the points tally between first and second, I made that as 91. So just to confirm my maths, and hopefully my GCSE level maths isn't as bad, is standing up, because I would make it, doing the maths down here, which I'll share with you. The gap is currently 94 points, with 4 races to go after this. So that would mean 100 points on the table, with 4 points available then for fastest lap of the race, again with no pole position extra points. So if it's 94 and he needs 104, so that's 11-point deficit. So with this, Jonathan Cox needs to outscore Leclerc by 11 points today to win the championship. It's not going to be as case as easy to win the race. Of course, the gap between 25 and 18 wouldn't be enough. So realistically, for both the drivers, the pressure really is on Leclerc to deliver today. We are moments away from the Hungarian Grand Prix and going live, a very, very beautiful circuit. And plus, we're going to find out if it's going to rain. We've seen some rain very recently in the last of on WNR and FNR. We've seen some wet races, and of course that spices the action up in the RRC racing leagues. So are we going to see a wet race today, as we did see, of course, in Formula 1 at the weekend? These latest updates do like to mirror Formula 1, as does this game, so who knows? And of course then, if it does rain even during the race, we've got a whole bag of fun on our hands. So not the 20 expected tonight, leaving through us at 3-6. Roughly about 15 drivers starting the race, 16 drivers starting the race. And the 20 is expected. And I'll be trying to read through as many of the messages I get through as possible. And of course, good luck to all the competitors listening out there. Tonight is going to be a good one, as it was last week in Monza. Okay, it's looking pretty dry so far out on track. Let's hope it remains that way for the whole of the race. Of course, it would spice it up for all of us out there if we was to see any changes in the weather. This is the part, of course, now in this league where the drivers are going to be seeing the weather conditions. They're going to be judging what tyres to go out on to start the race on. Of course, Hungary is a very high downforce circuit. Only really Monaco, the circuit which holds obviously the highest downforce out there. And it's all about the tyres around Hungary. Everyone knows that. And just perfecting the setup. Of course, you throw rain into it, it's going to throw a complete spanner in the works. Moments away from finding out, of course, the drivers just making sure that their setup is in. Just making sure they're going to pit on the right strategy. We should be looking at a one stop here. As we can see, Fisher, so he's the highest guy in championship standings. He gets us away in the formation lap. He's starting from the medium tyre. Let's get the graphics up so you can see that as quickly as possible. And I'll try and talk you through the lap. Gorgeous circuit out here. Okay, so we can see a bit of a change in the tyre lineup. It's very grey out there as well. So first things first, Fisher's on pole position in his Mercedes. He's opting for the medium tyre. We've got Bagos starting from P2. Weirdly enough, going for the hard tyre. Not the tyre that I would have wanted myself around here. We've got Dewey starting from P3. He's on the medium, so the top three drivers opting for completely different tyre compounds. And then we've got the first of the soft runners, his teammate Visual Optics. So AlphaTauri really spreading the bus out there, just trying to get the best possible strategy for both cars. So expect him to come through the middle of the pack on those softs. We've got Matt Smith again starting from the soft tyre down there from 5th position. Puppy Jr., he's gone from leaps and bounds in the last few weeks. He'll start 6th again on the softs. Then we've got a medium runner, TFC Oboy. Of course, last week, very, very good, well for him. And unfortunately, his tyres, just the alternate strategy, couldn't stand up. We've got Ian MC starting there from the soft compound. Again, he's been very good, as have Poppy Senior. So Junior currently holding the strength. We've got Stringy. We've got Ferg starting into the mediums, Ice Dreams, and then we've got Seb, Leclerc and Coxey all starting from the medium tyre. So we'll go back and we'll rejoin Fishers at the end of the formation lap. Just trying to make sure the tyres are in a decent temperature, making sure the brakes are warmed up. This is where the nerves really start to come in, as we can see the Red Bull coming in. The current championship leader. He's starting from the back today. Is he going to finish at the front? We're going to find out. 35 laps to go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've got lights, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the Hungarian Grand Prix is go. Now! And Fish is not a bad stop from pole position as they all seem to blank out down there. We've got, who's that? Stringy going down the field, and hour! Big problem there already! That's going to have to be a yellow flag or a safety car. We can see 3 drivers involved in that. Jonathan Cox has not been able to get that through the field as we expected. Puppy Jr. has managed to hold it. It's going to be a safety car for sure with that. A big issue there. Looks like Dewey's received a big penalty as well. We've got 2 drivers there, Bagos and VSL Optics, right at the start of the field. So currently, if you missed that, we've got Puppy Jr. I told you this guy's been on fire. In fact, it looks like our comms again has got an issue, so ignore that. Puppy Jr. is showing as P2. It's Fishers that still remains on first place. It is a full safety car. Now, expect to see the soft runners in the form of Puppy Jr. and Matt Smith make a pit stop, surely. This is going to fall into the hands of would have been Bagos in way up there in P2, I believe, or P3 actually, starting from the hard tyre. He's out of the race, as is Optics. We've got Carl's got damage at the back as well. So don't be surprised if we see any of these cars come in on the first lap to make at least one tyre stop. Now, do they stop as they come around the last corner? Let's have a quick look. Fish is deciding not to pit. That's a clever move not to do around here. And we can see the first Puppy Jr. decides to pit. Not happy with those soft tyres. Matt Smith, he stays out. IMC, he's in as well. As we can see, Ferg will move up to second place for staying out. Puppy, well, both Puppies in. The Puppy Jr. and a 5-second penalty there. It's not what Puppy needed for pit lane speeding. So a big dramatic start we have to see, and Haas weren't ready for the number 69. It's going to be a front wing change, so it looks like he was caught up in turn 1 as well. So going on to the championship rivals, the battle of course for the title. So we've got Leclerc coming in 8th position and Jonathan Cox in 9th, so it looks like of course Leclerc would have started ahead of Jonathan Cox on the grid. I'm happy to say that both of them have stayed away from that turn 1 incident. Good for the championship and good for us. It's not good to see. Would have been good to see these two getting involved in a turn 1 incident at all. As Dewey there, we can see at the back of the field. He's gone for the medium tyre. Don't believe it's going to be able to last him through the whole of this race. But wanting to get rid of those soft compounds, we can see Fisher's there picking up the safety car. And it does look pretty dark out there, you have to say. At the moment, the run for the championship isn't enough points that Jonathan Cox needs. Of course, at the moment, losing ground to Leclerc, being 8th and 9th on the track. So at the moment, it looks like a championship battle will be going on for another week to the next round, but we're a long way from that happening just yet. I can see obviously there's comments on there. I'm trying to have a quick look through if I can actually see them. So apologies for the time for the second. I'm trying to read some of your comments that have come through, and technology is letting me down as ever, and it's not showing me that, so apologies for that part. So let's run through the top 10 really quickly as we are under safety cars. You can see Ferg taking a very wide line there into turn 1. We've got Fisher's currently leading the number 13, the Mercedes. Needs crucial points today, and this safety car will definitely help his cause. We've got Matt Smith, actually a good running a rider up there. So have a quick look at the positions and see what they've actually made up on that one. So Matt Smith making up 3 places from his grid start. Fisher started pole, he has remained first and top of the order. Then we've got Ferg making a big jump from 8 places. And of course, a safety car would have helped the racing point. When we've got Old Boy down there, again emulating what he did last week. So to start from him up 3 positions, we've got Stringy up by 5 places. I've got Ice Strings. He again has been up 6 places from his grid start, as is Seb, as is Leclerc, as has Coxey. Poppy Jr. is the first of the losers, unfortunately. Has Poppy Jr. He has made a pit stop. He's on the medium tyres, which the guys ahead of him obviously did not start on. They started on mediums. He started on soft. So already he has fallen down the track order by 4 places, as has Ian MC. He's fallen down 3 and pitted. Puppy fallen down 3 places from his good start and has got a 5-second penalty, as we're hearing, as Dewey's although lost 10 places, the biggest loser unfortunately, as we're hearing from race control. The safety car is coming in. Bert Mylander has been told to box on this lap. So Mercedes 1-2 in the way of Bert Mylander and iFishers. But Mylander and the Mercedes about to come in. Didn't see the safety car in the Turkish Grand Prix. We've already seen it on lap 1 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. As iFishers, when does he put the throttle down? This is going to be Prevost to the race start. And he hit the gas in the last corner. Great restart there from iFishers. He's away. Matt Smith already going to get pressure from Ferg, as you can see now. He's not going to be losing that ERS. The McLaren's already slightly ahead. He's going to have to move into turn 1. Sorted. Good move there from Ferg. He's up to P2. Matt Smith falls down to P3, as we can see already. As we can see the Alfa Romeo trying to make a move there for Leclerc. And he needs to. This is about the championship we're waiting for. He's gone past the McLaren. He's got Seb ahead of him. He has got it all to do today. As iStreams is sitting in 8th place. We've got Jonathan Cox down there in 9th, current points leader. Of course, he can win the championship today. He doesn't want to get too close to that McLaren ahead of him. Doesn't get damage at this stage in the race. 4 laps gone, a long way in this race to go, and a move early from Jonathan Cox. As we go into sector 2, good move there. He doesn't want to be putting too much pressure on himself today. I said to him earlier, IMC trying the same move on the outsides. Good move there for me and the MC. So he's seen T-Bone's done it a few corners ago and wanted a piece of the action. As we can see the battle for what is our 3rd position, it looks like. Matty Smith, TFC Old Boy, Stringy and Seb, who we currently fight with. And Leclerc's already looking all over him. Leclerc can see a path to 3rd place. And he's really going for it. There's the gap for the lead. iFish is 7/10 of a second. We're going to focus on this battle for 1 second. Stringy having a look there into turn 1. And pushes, it looks like, Seb off onto the grass a little bit. A bad exit though for Matt Smith. He's going to even compromise into turn 3. It does. It is now racing point 2 and 3 in the way of Ferg and Old Boy. As you can see, Stringy's not happy there with P5. He's up to P4. And the McLaren losing places, battling on the soft tyres. He wants to keep it away from that curve as he possibly can. There's not much grip out there whatsoever. iStream's getting himself a 3 seconds time penalty, which will be added to his race. If he doesn't end up finishing the race. It does look like he will have to though. We've got a couple of them drive with pit lane penalties in the way of Puppy and iStream, so penalties for them. As we can see, Matt Smith going even further down the field as he falls down to 6th place. Jonathan Cox is down a position as well off Ian MC, and he's really going to have to drive with 4 eyes open today. Is Jonathan Cox, Ian MC, as he comes in, and he doesn't, getting so close there to the edge of the track, is Jonathan Cox. iFishers is currently leading by 5/10 of a second. We're going to try and stay with this. Let's see what tyres the championship leader goes on to. Is another set of, it's hard tyres. It's a front wing change as well, so that's the reason why he's fallen behind. And is this where it starts to go wrong for Jonathan Cox in the Hungarian Grand Prix? We're back with the leader, iFishers. He at the moment has this race all under control. We've got the 2 racing points, 2nd and 3rd. And Ferg really getting the car sideways there. Very similar helmet to myself actually with Ferg. Maybe I should be calling copyright on him on the racing point. So in fact we have got the Mercedes in 3rd. We've got pink Mercedes in 2nd and 3rd place. Maybe the Turkish Grand Prix was a lucky omen for them. That's the reason why. But good to see the 2 racing points up there and really duelling for points position. TFC Old Boy, speaking of racing points, gets himself a penalty for 3 seconds. That's not going to help his battle in P3. He seems to be a Ronin Robot right now. He's got 3 or 4 cars behind him. 3 cars behind him, in fact, in the ways of Stringy, Seb and the Leclerc in second in the championship. As we can see the gap now, Stringy is making a move there and does get past into P3. As we can see, is he going to be done for that? He's not. Good move there from Leclerc. He's got it all to do today. He wasn't done with that, and it looks like the Racing Point's going to fall even further behind. He does indeed. It's a shame. The doors have opened, I'm afraid, for TFC Old Boy. He got a penalty on the last lap. He was running in P2. He's down to P6 in less than a lap. Big shame for him. The floodgates have opened, and Leclerc is trying to push on for P3 in this race. Meanwhile, a bit further down, look at Jonathan Cox is currently 12th. It's not where he wanted to be. His championship rival is currently in P4. At the moment, it's enough to extend the championship. Of course, Jonathan Cox has to take 11 points or 12 points out of, or extend his championship lead by 12 points to win the championship today. At the moment, it does look like it's going to be extended to next week's Grand Prix. We've got a long way to go in that. So we're about to start lap 8 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've got iFishers, we've got Ferg. He's in DRS range of iFishers as he comes down to turn 1. He's not going to be close enough this time, but of course he will get a second bite of the cherry as far as DRS is concerned. It's going to be open for him right now. Can he make a move? It's 0.3 of a second. He can't. So for the moment, Ferg is currently second. We've got Stringy sitting there in third place. He has got the guy second in the championship all over the back of him. GFO Seb is trying to join the party there in 5th place. He wants third as well, as many points as he can possibly get. His penalty is not going to help. Jonathan Cox takes the fastest lap of the race on hards. That's going to be hard to do. And well, I think Seb even staying on the racetrack there in the back steps was very hard to do as well. A bit like racing on ice, the F1 drivers like to say. Well, they're all racing on ice. They seem to be driving on ice in the Hungarian Grand Prix. As you can see now, best seat in the house here for GFO Sebastian, who currently is looking at the guys ahead of us in Leclerc and Stringy for 3rd and 4th place. He wants a piece of the action. He wants to get involved. And it's going to be all about the DRS exit. And that is the reason why we joined Ferg for his battle with iFisher. Still withholding the pressure. I think he's going to be close enough this time. He's going to go from the outside. iFisher's really defending on the inside. And he is ahead. So Ferg does make the move for the lead. Can he go back at him though into turn 2? Of course, he's got the DRS, and that is the reason why he's able to stay ahead. As we can see, Stringy there has got Leclerc all over him and can't make a move into turn 3. So he's going to have to sit behind Stringy for, looks like, another lap, as the leader gets himself a 3-second time penalty for cutting corners, and this is not what Ferg would want to happen. A Racing Point leads the Hungarian Grand Prix in the way of Ferg. We've got iFishers in P2. He started from pole. He's now down by 1 place. He's in the race for 8 laps. Of course, 3 of those laps were behind the safety car, but he did extremely well to keep him beside for so long, and it's a shame because he gets himself a 3-second time penalty. But hopefully in the longer game for him, it's going to mean points for Mercedes, and in the nicest possible way. Hopefully he won't be starting from pole position in the next race next week, and that's obviously the nicest possible way for iFishers. Hope his season can get started going this week. As Stringy here, sitting there in 3rd place. He's got Leclerc behind him, and Leclerc has got his own battle in the way of Sebastian all over the back. So much for having to dart out there to break the slipstream. And a late move there from Seb. Wasn't close enough this time. He will get the DRS though again, as he just really has to fight the Renault coming out of, what's that, at the end of turn 1, or turn 2 technically. Into turn 3 they go. Leclerc really eyeing up a gap there, trying to eye up. Just about keeping it on the road there, Leclerc. You can just sense there's something about him today, Leclerc. He's really pushing it. You can just feel the pressure building here. We're only on lap 10 as well. A 35 lap race. We've only seen 2 retirements today from the 15 starters. There's a turn 1 or we've even got down to turn 1 off the line, an incident there between Bagos and BSL Optics. Big shame for them. so no points for either driver. We've got 13 drivers left, as we can look at one of the drivers we're riding with in the way of GFO Leclerc. He's currently sitting in 4th place. He needs as many points as possible today to keep his championship alive going into the next round. And he's still, as you can see there, he does not want to be fighting. This is not what you want to be doing. Putting your front wheel in there on the last corner. As he has to go stringy and stringy defend, but this unfortunately he cannot defend from GFO Leclerc. Leclerc is up to 3rd place. As Seb would have seen that, would have had the best seat in the house for that. Can he hold that position? What Leclerc needs to do really is keep his head down and focus on the leaders in 1st and 2nd. Of course, next week, if the championship battle goes on, we're going on to China, I do believe. And what fun it would be to see, with 4 races to go, the championship going down even to the last race. We're a long way from that happening. At the moment, GFO Leclerc is trying to get as many points as possible. He's off! He's out! GFO Leclerc is out! 0 points for him! And this throws the championship wide open. We was racing with... Wow! That just goes to show you that one mistake around Hungary and it's all over. GFO Leclerc is out of the race. And now Jonathan Cox really has to keep going. He's got to get 12 points. So by my reckoning, if he gets it up to 5th or 6th place, he's going to be champion. And wow, we were just talking about how crucial it could be in the last few races, as surely as a safety car out on track. We can see them all going so slowly. So all the drivers out into the pits by the looks of things. Let's have a quick look as position changes and trying to see what tyres they are all going on. As we can see, they've all seemed to have come in for the hard tyre. So Ferg is still leading the race. We've got I Fishers down in 2nd place. We've got Stringy, who has not come in. He is on the medium tyre. Oh, he has come in, sorry. We've got Dewey in 4th. So up to 4th position. He's already pitted, of course, at the end of lap 1. They may be thinking that hard tyres can go to the end. I'd be shocked if they can. We've got Seb, he's pitted again for the hard tyres. So these drivers with the time penalties trying to get themselves to the end of the race. And would you believe it, Jonathan Cox goes up to P6 in the championship battle, and this could be all we need. I'm going to check in 1 second on the point standings to see if that is going to be enough to see him through to being crowned champion in Hungary. So by my reckoning on here, that we've taken out, of course, the fastest lap and the point for fastest lap. So 25 points for a win, 18 for 2nd, 15 for 3rd, 12 for 4th. So Jonathan Cox here needs 4th place or better to win the Drivers' Championship. As we can see a driver ahead of him, it's Dewey coming in, maybe thinking that the hard tyres are the way to go. He's retiring from the race, Dewey. That's a position up for Jonathan Cox. Jonathan Cox moves up to 5th place. Really, he only has to keep going. He needs one more position to win the championship. If he can finish, of course. We've seen Leclerc drop it in the wall. The only guy that could take the championship down to another week and deny Jonathan Cox is out. We'd see him storm back through the field. I did say, of course, earlier, we could see something definitely different today about Leclerc, and well, we have seen it. So let's go through the grid. Let's go through the formation really quickly again. So we got CGM Ferg, who currently leads the race in a good battle in his racing point. He has stopped for hards. They should see him through to the end of the race at this stage. We've got I Fisher starting from pole. He's moved down 1 position. Good to see him up there, and hopefully some good points for him. Again, he has stopped. We've got Stringy currently in 3rd position. The first driver not to have any kind of a of a penalty in P3. Again, hard tyres for him. GFO Sebastian is in 4th place. P3 in the championship. He can't do anything about the championship this year, I'm afraid. This season, again, hard tyres for him. Jonathan Cox, he is on the championship leader. He's got to finish 4th or higher to win the championship here because of Leclerc's retirement. He is on hard. They've done 6 laps though, as the safety car prepares to come in this lap. Just to talk you through the rest of the field, TFC Old Boy there, he was doing pretty well earlier, P2, all the way down there in 6th. We've got Ice Streams in 7th, Ian MC 8th, Puppy in 9th, leading his junior Puppy in 10th place. 11 is Matt Smith. He's the only driver who is out of the points and on the medium tyre. As we can see now, what can Ferg do about the restart? iFish was all over him on the first restart we had. Accelerated right in the middle of this corner, and now Ferg drops the gas, and you can see good start again from him. There's a battle for 3rd and 4th position. We can see it's 4th and 5th between GFO, Seb and Stringy making them go the long way round. And they're going to touch Shorty in there. And that's a good move there from Seb. He's up to 3rd position. We've got Stringy and Jonathan Cox. Now is Stringy going to play the team game and get out of his teammates' way? It's 4th or better that Jonathan Cox needs to win the championship at this event. We are yet to see, as iFish is there really hunting down Ferg. The tyre's not completely up to temperature yet, as we saw the first lap. We saw iFish has really fall away as Leclerc, as it severs off. And that is unbelievable, having an issue there with Puppy Jr. And they're still fighting as they go into the Sector 2. An incident between those two drivers as Ice Streams is falling down a further position. He's down to P7. It puts Jonathan Cox up to P4. And that's all he needs for championship order at the for his championship at the moment. That is basically all he needs. Let's have a quick look. And also fastest lap of the race, so that will take him way over that rear left tyre. Not looking fantastic at the moment. And this could all come down to tyres. At the end of the day, it's older tyres for Jonathan Cox in P4. His teammate ahead of him, looking to see if Red Bull do deploy team orders and do all of Jonathan Cox through, but of course they should be free to race. They are good buddies, these two. And know, of course, how hard they all do practice on their setups week in, week out, just to make sure they have the best setups possible. I think Ice Stringy's not going to be happy taking part of the grass with him. Little Hungarian Souvenir, who's currently sitting on P3 on the podium as things stands. As we can see there, iFish is just coming into shot. The safety car has brought everyone back into position again. At the moment, we've got 11 runners and riders still left in this race, as TFC Old Boy is having his own battle there with Ian MC over what is 6th place. Ian MC really rolling the dice here. I don't believe those mediums are going to be able to see him through to the end of the race. And he didn't take advantage of a cheap pit stop, as TFC Old Boy is going to be trying to go around the outside of the Old Boy. Oh, jolly on Old Boy, and is he going to go for the undercut here? He will get DRS on the next lap, as we're getting confirmation there. As GFO Seb's retired now. So now we have 10 drivers left. We're down to the last 10. And wow, it does mean though that Matt Smith is going up in the points. And of course, iFish, who's currently in P2 in this race, may well be getting some well-deserved points for the team. As long as he's got to do is finish his Mercedes bottom of the Constructors' Championship, and would really help a P2 today. He's still currently in P2 in the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've got Stringy and Jonathan Cox, T-Bone in 3rd and 4th place. Ian MC 5th. It's TFC Old Boy 6th. Ice Streams in 7th, Puppy in 8th, Puppy Jr. in 9th, and Matt Smith is currently in 10th. So just moving on to the battle going over there at Hatt between the two puppies. So we've seen Puppy Jr. really taking the bull by the horns in the last few races, we have to say. But it does seem like Puppy has got him on this one, having an incident there a little bit earlier. Has seen him fall down the order, so a big shame for him. Such a big talent there for Puppy and Puppy Jr. As we speak about Puppy Jr., he's come in not happy with those hard tyres, maybe thinking mediums are the way, and of course we do get stocks are going through the way, and a front wing change. So if we do see for the number 9 a safety car come out, we may even see him jump through the order in the last few laps. Very excited about getting out of the pits there, as Ferg has got this one under control for the time being. The gap is 2.4 seconds out there for P2 for I Fishers. It's Stringy in 3rd place in the Red Bull. Jonathan Cox is in 4th place, still trying to hunt down his teammate. It's all he needs at the moment for the championship is P4. Ian MC is 5th, the first runner on the medium tyres that surely won't make it to the end of the race. He's done, what's that, 9 laps. So pitting on lap 9 these tyres, surely you can't make these medium tyres go to the end of the race. We just have a half distance now on lap 18, still got half the race to go. And we can see there, moving around position, TFC Boys still after Ice Streams. He'll get the DRS this time. And Ice Streams is holding the position, so very well done to him. Oh, they can be so careful through here not to make contact. They don't. Ice Streams backs off. He did have the DRS. He hasn't made it work for him. Big shame for him. And still, Jonathan Cox is still holding the fastest lap of the race. So, going on to position changes, let's talk you through really quickly. Of course, big turn 1 incident we did see that took out 2 drivers in the way of VSL Optics and Bagos. It put them out of the race. Fergus taken full advantage, up 10 positions from his grid start, up into the lead of this race. So Arthur hold the lead up until roughly about lap 8 in the safety car. After the safety car, you see Ferg managed to get past him. So after about 10 laps that Ferg's been leading this race for, and of course we did see 3 of those laps being taken care of by safety car. So Stringy is the, what's that, the 3rd best winner currently at the moment, up 7 places from that dramatic turn 1, pitted at the right time, but he's got it all to do today, especially to try and keep his teammates behind him. We've got a long way to go in this race, but will Red Bull be building out team orders? We'll find out soon. Jonathan Cox at IFIS gets himself another penalty. Jonathan Cox up 11 places, started from the back of the grids. That's what you do when you're leading the championship. And he's been Mr. Cool, calm and collected. He didn't need to go out and win today. I told him myself that just to drive his race. He didn't need to be battling all the way through. Very lucky last week in his home Italian Grand Prix to have won that. And maybe we're seeing the pressure really come through to Leclerc, who is out of this race. So Ian MC having a very good race there, currently in P5. Good points for Alpha, of course his teammate out of the race in the middle of, what would that been, lap 12, lap 13, lap 14, we saw that. TFC Old Boy, he was up there at the front, he's fallen down a little bit since then, I'm afraid, back down to P6 on the hard tyres, having a nice little ding dong battle with Ice Streams. He seems to have got away from Ice Streams we're currently looking at in the last 2 laps or so. Puppy there in 8th place, again having a quiet race as Puppy seems to do. Very mature drive there from Puppy, for placing his grid starts. He's 20 seconds off the lead. He's on the hard tyres, and surely he should be able to make these go till the end of the race. He is reeling in Ice Streams, as we can see, for P8. Matt Smith happy to be looking at 2 points at the moment in his McLaren, down 4 places from his grid start. However, turn 1, he's managed to keep his head through that. And the safety car really dropped in his favour, especially the second one. It's brought him towards the close to the field, 40 seconds back. But those medium tyres surely won't last until the end of the race. And finally in 10th place we've got Poppy Jr. Well, he was up there at the front at one point in the middle of his pack, falling down. He's on the softs. He's going to be reeling in Matthew Smith fairly soon, trying to stay away from the penalties and see if his soft tyres can last him until the end of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Still running with Iceberg. We try and see if we can have a quick look at just the gaps. Let's see the closest gap on the track, which is the gap battle for P3 between Stringy and Jonathan Cox. We haven't seen any team orders at Red Bull quite yet. And for sportsmanship, let's hope we don't see any either. That's one thing maybe I probably should have asked both of them before the start of this race. A team always going to play a factor. Now the DRS here, there's only one real place to pass. That is down into turn 1, getting a good slipstream off of the last corner and really firing it into turn 1. As we can see, Jonathan Cox getting ever closer to his teammates for P3. As now the DRS is open. I wanted to see your comments. As we can see, Jonathan Cox is trying to make a move there, which I'll be getting to very shortly. And thank you very much to VSL Optics for his kind words. It's a shame that he's not involved in this race anymore. It'd been nice to have seen him come through. So if you want to watch this, he probably won't be a race that Optics wants to watch again. So hopefully next week, and hopefully China's going to be better for VSL Optics out there. And looks like Mono's having his own problems with lag. It's a shame. Hopefully Mono can get his get that sorted out in the weeks to come. And LH44 joining us from some of the other leagues, putting his points on about what he thinks the tyres are going to be at the end. Lap 7 for the hards, you say you can go to the end. Well, we'll see about that. And Mono responding to LH's comments. Stephen High asking, can Red Bull win the title? No, not in this race. So the point score is not enough with 4 to go. So no is the answer to that. That Red Bull cannot win the points standings in this event. If my mental maths was any better, I might be able to tell you exactly when they could, but unfortunately they're not good enough, so I might have to wait for someone to let me know of that. As we can see it all under control here at Red Bull for 3rd and 4th place. You can surely understand the reason why we are staying. It's the closest battle on the track. You can understand the reason why we are staying with Jonathan Cox for the time being. He's currently in P4 with the fastest lap of the race. Is all he needs to win the TNR Championship. He's been Mr. Cool, Calm and Collective this whole season. Led for the majority of the year. Made very few mistakes. And is it going to be the top of his... Is it going to be the highlight of his season here, clutching or clinching the championship at the Hungaroring? Again, just the 12 points he needs, which he has got covered. He's currently on 13 points in a very strange race where we've seen Leclerc, his championship rival, as we can see him going for DRS again. He just wasn't close enough in the braking point. He will get DRS again on the next lap, and also coming down the hill into turn 2 or turn 3 officially. He wants to save his ERS, cutting a 30% ERS. Just trying to get close as he possibly can to his teammate Stringy ahead of him. Taking a lot of curb there. He doesn't really take too many risks in this race. We've still got, what's that, 12 laps to go in the Hungarian Grand Prix. We rejoin with Ferg. He's done 11 laps on these hards. Now, who is going to have the balls to roll the dice and go for the mediums? I don't think anyone is. I certainly wouldn't if I was racing there tonight. These hard tyres surely will do the end of the race. Of course, the only thing is time penalties to consider, as Puppy Jr. gets himself another time penalty, which, unfortunately, welcome to the club, Puppy Jr. He's coming in again. Is going to be for a wing change or just a service penalty? It's for tyres, so the softs weren't lasting. So it does look like he may well be... Is he going to be lapped? He has been lapped, so that's the reason why. So Puppy got up deciding to go for the soft tyre. Maybe trying to get himself an extra point for fastest up of the race. Surely he was ready in Matt Smith. He may have been able to have got past the McLaren, but it's taken out of the window, so surely as Matt Smith just stays where he is, he surely should be on for 2 World Championship points in 9th place. So the battle for the lead is currently sitting at 4.3 seconds, as Ferg seems to have it all under control in the racing point. You've seen him be aggressive when he needs to be against IF Fishes. He is sitting there in P3. He's sitting there against his teammate. He didn't fluster at the start of the race. He got through, obviously, at traumatic lap 1. He would have had Leclerc sleeming all over the back of him. He kept it under control. This way he leads his race. 4.7 seconds there to IF Fishes. He may slide in the front of the grid, but he's held it together here at Hungary. He's keeping in touch with the leader. Looking over at his pitbull there. As you can see him coming down the main stretch, going into turn 1, braking there, number 13. Stringy is in 3rd place. He has got his teammate breathing all over him in the form of Jonathan Cox. He seems to be holding it together for the time being. And of course, Jonathan Cox does not need to pass Stringy in this race for championship glory. Leclerc has lost it. The big news, if you're just joining us, GFO Leclerc has lost it. He is out of the race. The only guy who could have taken the championship down by another week, taking it on to China. He is out of the race. The championship is still live as long as Jonathan Cox now does not score 12 points. Of course, Leclerc scoring 0 points, nil points. And Jonathan Cox has to score 12 points to win the championship here. He's got Ian MC trying to keep him relatively within his sights for looking at for an overall 3rd position between Stringy, Coxey and Ian MC. We're still running with the closest battle on the track between the 2 Red Bulls. A bit wide there from Stringy coming into the last corner. What a beautiful shot that is. At the seat, his ERS is going to be completely open. Stringy again deciding to go down the inside. This time T-Bone goes for the outside. Matty Smith gets himself a penalty, going for the undercut. Is he going to be strong enough this time? He's all on the marbles as well. Is Coxey trying to go for the inside? It's no space there. Thinks about it for another lap. And that's his turn to go all over the marbles. He's done 20 laps on these hard tyres. Now, as you can see, there's a hat behind that's ghosted, so that was the reason why I was thinking that EMC is so close, so apologies behind that. It's a hat that is out of this race. As we can see, TFC Old Boy, has he had an off? His front wing looks very detached from the car. It is. So he's had an off into turn 1. He's not going to be able to get much downforce there in a turn 3 or turn 4. And Matty Smith may well be on for more championship points. Gets himself a pit lane speeding penalty. And TFC Old Boy has got a long way to get home. He may well be on for 9th place. That trip across the speeding in the pit lane is really not going to help him. I told you the tyres weren't going to last. He does go for soft, so maybe a pulpit for fastest up at the race when the fuel consumption really comes down. As we're looking at the rally car now of TFC Old Boy, and he's not going to make it there. More of his front wing, he's out of the race. big shame for TFC, old boy. And does this cause the third safety car? The rally car of the Racing Point. There was two, now there's one. That front tyre, unfortunately, is completely detached from the Racing Point. Now, it doesn't look like we're going to get a safety car. TFC, old boy, out. His rally Racing Point, not ideally suited to the Hungaroring. As you can see, his Racing Point teammate currently leading the Hungarian Grand Prix by 5.8 seconds there to I Fishers. So we have got 9 drivers left. So everyone that finishes this race will get points and will get, obviously what we've got to do is finish this race, but of course it is easier said than done. 15 starters, we've got 9 left as Ferg leads this race. GCM Ferg leads this race by 6.3 seconds. We've got Stringy down there in 3rd position, so I think this is 2nd and Stringy is 3rd. We've got Jonathan Cox still sitting there in 4th place. The half is ghosted behind him. ENMC comes into pit road. Those mediums did not last. It doesn't look like Poppy can capitalise. So it's softs for ENMC. He will get out there into, he will stay in 5th place, but he is going to be on the faster compound tyre, so he may be able to take away a point from Jonathan Cox for fastest lap of the race. If he does, it doesn't matter for the championship. Jonathan Cox has still got enough points to win the championship here. So if ENMC puts in the fastest lap of this race, which Cox is unable to come back with, it does mean that he will be TNR's champion at the Hungaroring. So looking at the deg of these tyres, I want to have a quick look on boards with a couple of the drivers. You can see our streams now going for the medium tyre. He wasn't happy, must have had no soft tyres left. Let's have a quick look at Puppy's tyres. He's done 16 laps, so relatively similar. So as EMC gets himself a 3-second time penalty, that's really not going to help his battle today. These hard tyres are looking pretty good actually from Puppy. Not too much wear on the fronts that we can see. I'm trying to look for an air or a better shot of the rear tyres. Couldn't really see that. Our attention going back really quickly to the Red Bull chain, which is not stopping at any stations to China, let me tell you today. This is the place you really have to focus now. Middle part of the race, we've got 6 to go, but we've seen how easy it is to lose momentum and completely lose it into the tyre wall, the Hungaroring. It is the closest battle for the lead. At the moment, Jonathan Cox will get to P3 because of the time penalties, which will give him the championship. As Stringy, I Fishers and Ferg definitely do have time penalties ahead of us. Ferg, as predicted, does go and put in, or he does put in the fastest lap of the race on 18 lap old hards. So he really has to got a bit between his teeth now. He starts lap 31. He takes away the fastest lap of the race. It takes a point, and Jonathan Cox makes the move into turn 1. Stringy defends it. Coxey trying to attack again. The gap between them was 1.33 tenths of a second. He momentarily got into P3. His teammate has said no. You shall not pass, so to speak. ENMC takes away the fastest lap of the race. Momentarily, so that is where a pass is going to happen. It looks like he's down out of turn 2, making sure you get a good exit from 1, down into turn 2, following the car, making your move into turn 3. With 5 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix to go. We've seen shock of the day, Leclerc, with it all to do in this race. He certainly would have wanted 26 points. to have helped out his championship battle. If he'd still be running in this race and Coxey was currently still in 5th position, it would not have given him enough points to be crowned champion tonight. As things stand, Jonathan Cox running out of ERS, trying to push his teammates as he has been doing the battle for the last 10-12 laps or so between the Red Bulls. The Racing Bulls, these two, they've kept it on the black stuff and away from each other's cars, so that no contact that we've seen between the two Red Bulls. They seem to have kept it pretty clean, these two, as Jonathan Cox now 7/10 away from his teammates. As up front we've got Ferg, a very, very good drive from him today, very professional drive. A statesman drive, you have to say, for Ferg. He's been fantastic today. Fishers, for me, again, I give it a second culprit for driver of the day. So Ferg and Fishers really driver of the day, in my opinion. We'll have to share it between the both of them if they finish where they are right now. Stringy currently 3rd. Coxey currently 4th. We spoke about so much about his battle today. Ian MC is currently in 5th. On the soft tyres, he's going to be trying to close that deficit of 18 seconds down to the battle for P3. He's currently leading fastest lap of the race. Bobby in 6th place. Again, this guy just hibernates during the race. I swear he does. He does it in all the racing leagues he's in. Hibernates during the race, picks up the points. Mr. Reliable in the Haas, coming towards the end of his 33rd lap. Behind him we've got the two McLarens still in this race, the only second team that only have 2 drivers left in the way of Ice Streams and Matty Smith. So good points for McLaren hopefully coming up, and Puppy bringing up the rear for the points battle in 9th place. He's on the softs. He's not going to like these drive-through penalties, and that is how you get yourself a 3-second time penalty. We just witnessed going far too far over the curb at turn 5. 7 and 8. Into turn 9. And getting out of gear there dramatically to turn 10. That's not what we want to be seeing from Poppy Jr. Maybe a little bit of focus for him. As you can see, the Racing Point really getting towards the end of gear 7. He did want to put it into gear 8. He's really over revving that Racing Point. Hopefully it's just the graphics we're watching, because it's showing that the car is really over revving. I don't think that's an issue. There could be a glitch with the new that we haven't seen in this race yet, as it's only happening, it looks like, to the Racing Point. Maybe that's something they put into the game from this update of engine failures. If it is, that is definitely not what we want to be hearing on a Racing Point. So hopefully for Ferg, it's not going to be, so his times are looking pretty consistent. Maybe it is just a glitch, maybe just jumping, because even from the outside it just sounds awful, the Racing Point. It's sounding like a sheep more than anything. Or maybe it is the right colour for being a lamb to the slaughter, and if there was a problem with that Racing Point, I'm sure by now in the engine department we would have seen something about it. The car is not... Does he go up to 8th gear this time? This time he goes up to 8th gear, so maybe just a glitch with the game. As you can hear, it doesn't happen with Fishers. The gap is remaining at 8.2 seconds. So it looks like a glitch more than anything, and not an actual issue with the car. Which actually would be quite interesting, really, if we saw that from Codemasters. Codemasters introducing a secret update into this game where you had an engine problem, or gearbox problem, or hydraulics problem in the middle of the race. And what a fantastic view that is of the Mercedes of Fishers and company in P2. So if you've missed us, of course, the top 3 have got multiple penalties, far too many to be keeping up with. And it will be close between Ferg and Fish to see exactly who has won this race. On the track, Ferg still leads it. Fish is currently 2nd and Stringy 3rd. The top 3 have done the same laps on these tyres, on these hard compound tyres. We've got Stringy and Cox. He's pitted for softs. Oh, it's INMC, apologies. Jumping again there, it did look like from where I was sitting that Coxie had pitted for softs. I did wonder how he caught his teammate up so quickly, doing a Murray Walker there. So massive apologies to everyone out there listening. So we're still running from the battle for third position between Stringy and Jonathan Cox. At the moment, Stringy keeping it on the island. As we've just seen it, Ferg has actually just won the race, so congratulations to him for that point. Jonathan Cox comes through third, he wins the championship. I was missing out amazingly on there for the white flag lap. So it's Ferg who does seem to have taken the points home. He wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've got Iron Fishers down there in P2. And by the jump on that, and by calculations, T-Bone Jonathan Cox has won the TNR Championship. It's on the 29-lap-old hard tyres. Stringy is 4th, Ian MC is 5th. It's Puppy who comes through to take 6th position. Ice Streams will be 7th. And wow, that was exciting. Jonathan Cox voted driver of the day. For me, he's had enough accolade today. He's won a championship here. He finishes on the podium as champion. The glory has to go out to these two right here. Well, the hard tyres did hold on right at the end. Apologies, I thought we had another lap to go. Actually, unfortunately, ended up missing the end of the race and seeing, of course, Ferg crossed the line in first place. I Fishers currently finished in second place again. So Ferg and I Fishers for me, driver of the day for the both of them. Fantastic for them. Jonathan Cox has finished third. He jumped Stringy at the end. Didn't need to on track. It's his championship. So congratulations to him. He'll finish third. It's Jonathan Cox in Stringy in 4th place. Ian MC 5th, Puppy 6th, Ice Stream 7th, Matty Smith in 8th, Puppy Jr. 9th, and TFC Old Boy in 10th. Puppy Jr. is the last of the points runners. Well, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. A big well done to the top 3 of Ferg and I Fishers. They really put on the show, especially for I Fishers starting from the front of the grid under dramatic pressure. He came through, he finished second, very well done for him. And for Jonathan Cox, it really has been his year, his season I should say, making very, very minimal faults. And at the end, it was GFO Leclerc, the only guy that could topple his championship, his crown today. He was out in the middle of the race. No points for him. It means Jonathan Cox gets enough points to win the championship. He'll take the number 1 to his next team. It's been fun. It's been thrilling. And we go on the championship next week to China. So I hope you can join us for TNR's coverage of the Chinese Grand Prix when we've seen as many drivers as possibly in action, hopefully all 20. And again, apologies for the last lap. I thought we had another lap to go. But for myself, Scrappy Doo, and everyone at RRC Racing, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.